said that August got out of here like 4 hoes in a Nissan. And when I tell you they did not lie. Hi friends, welcome back to Shelby and the Book Club. I am Shelby Monet, and in today's video we are doing my August reading wrap up. All the books that I talk about will be linked down below in the underneath bar. It is called the underneath bar because it is underneath the video. Okay, all of those links are affiliate links if you would like to support me, this channel, and the book club. Before we get started, one new thing that will be linked down below is a discount code to Zlul. I am an ambassador for them. Y'all are always asking about my glasses or commenting on my glasses, so there will be a discount code for you guys to use. I will make sure I put it on the screen so y'all can go get y'all some bomb glasses too. I'm super excited. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it for real this time. I will put pictures of the graphs and all of my stats as I go through them. Everything is screenshotted from Storygraph. You guys know I do have a physical reading journal. If you guys want to see my reading journal, a little flip through, let me know because I can make that happen for you. But on a day-to-day, I am using Storygraph. It's very easy to use. You can do a ton of different things on there, which I absolutely love. You can do buddy reads. My favorite part about the buddy reads is that you can the comments are locked until the person or persons that you are reading with get to that part in the book. I think that's super cool. You can track your reading. There are all kinds of graphs and all kinds of stuff that I love. It's easier to me than Goodreads. It's more interactive than Goodreads. You can follow your friends. You can have book clubs on there. There are challenges and all sorts of stuff. You need Storygraph, on top of the fact that it is Black owned, Black woman owned, and Black run. That's very important. So for the month of August, by the way, you see me looking down, I have a notebook this week because the iPad was dead. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I thought I charged it last night. I don't want to talk about it. I read a total of 13 books in August, which is not bad. I had a goal to read a little bit more because I am at 96 books for the year. So I wanted to reach the 100 mark in August, but it's okay that I didn't. It's fine. In total, that means I read 3,735 pages. 62% of those books were over 300 to 500 pages, and 38% of those books were less than 300 pages. I was reading some big books this month. 8% were nonfiction. I gotta do better. I know. 92% were fiction. My top genres, I'm a creature of habit. Y'all probably could say this with me. Everybody at once. Historical, romance, literary, thriller, and last, coochie book. Did y'all actually say it with me? Y'all know me better than I know myself sometimes. Okay? I'm trying to venture out. I'm trying. I need to do better. But I don't think I know what that looks like. I don't know if I can conceptualize what adding other genres would look like. I also think that on here we are giving an overview when a lot of these books can fit different characters because it doesn't feel like I'm just reading these genres. The formats, 23% were print, 15% were audio, 62% were digital. The digital is probably a little bit higher than normal. I need to go back and kind of compare over the months, but that's because I got a Kobo color Libra color, however you say it. I absolutely love that thing. If you guys want a dedicated video to that, let me know. I will do a little sit down with how I've been liking it, so on and so forth. Let's start with audiobooks. I only read 2 audiobooks this month. First was the book club pick, and I of course had to show you my cover snob cover. If you did not know, I am an ambassador for Cover Snob Book Box. It is a Black woman owned romance subscription box that highlights Black and brown authors, specifically romance authors, across all genders, all sorts of things. So of course I had to have this cover that was a book club pick. I love that I have book club picks that are so pretty. It's just great. This is the second book in the Curve series by Danielle Allen. The first one, the book club read last year. It was called Curvy Girl Summer, where we met Aaliyah. This one is about Aaliyah's friend, Nina. Nina is dating. And like, mama has dating down to a T. She got 4 different categories. Her motto is it will be easier to find the things that I want in multiple men and highlight their strong suits, right? So there's the funny one, there's the smart one, there's the fun one, there's the romantic one. But she learns along the way that one of them is her favorite, and she has to kind of grapple with this idea that yes, one man can do all the things if he's the right one for me. The ones that can't do all the things are not the one. He's not the one, girl. This is way spicier than Curvy Girl Summer, okay? And what I like about it is this being spicier fits this particular character, whereas it wouldn't have made sense for Aaliyah in Curvy Girl Summer to be having as much sex as Nina is, because it didn't fit her personality. It didn't fit her thinking process. So I like that Danielle Allen is thoughtful in that way. The only thing that I would have enjoyed about this is if it was a dual POV. Russ was so perfect. I wanted to be in his head. And it made me realize that I completely forgot that Curvy Girl Summer was not dual POV. So this was very good. I totally recommend this. It's going on my favorites list for the year. Y'all need to read this. The next book that I listened to this month was Midnight Rooms by Danye. I don't remember her last name, but the cover should be on the screen. This was a very interesting book. It is a historical horror, I want to call it. It is very much written in a older style. So like, think classical lit, think Bronte Sisters, Charles Dickens, Jane Eyre, think that kind of vibe, but black. The main character is an orphan. Her aunt and uncle take her in, but a man comes interested in marrying her. He is one of many suitors that she has turned down. But this one she actually likes. But she finds out that he paid off her uncle's debt in order to marry her, and she's a little weirded out by it, but she's giving him a chance. She goes to his house. It is this lavish estate that she loves, but all of this weird stuff starts to happen. So there's creatures, fairies. When she goes out of the rooms, the hallways look different. They've locked her in the room. They've been like drugging her low key. There's all of this stuff that's happening that she can't explain. Not once did I feel like I wanted to DNF this book, but I really can't tell you what the main creature was or what all was going on in that household, okay? I think they were changelings. Somebody was shapeshifting in that bitch, okay? I just don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have to read it again. It put me in the mind of the author Alexis Henderson. She wrote The House of Hunger and a few other books. One other one that I can't think of the name. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. It puts me in the style of like her writing. So if you like Alexis Henderson, I think you'll really enjoy this book. Next up, we'll do my physical reads. So, Washington Black. I read this because there is a Hulu adaptation. And Hulu, this next couple of seconds is for Hulu. If you're not Hulu, you can step out for a second. If you are Hulu, I need you to stay here. And if you nosy, you could just stay too. Don't touch another black book ever. I'm sick of you. And that's all I'm gonna say. This is a beautiful book. I actually want to read more of Essie's work. I love how this was written. It tells the story of George Washington Black, who is a field slave who gets, I don't want to say picked on, but he gains the attention of his owner's brother, Titch. Titch is a scientist. He is having George like draw things for him, and George ends up getting all of these really great experiences. And then there is an accident that leads to Titch and George going on the run. I think the underlying conversation here is that sometimes non-Black people will do things for Black people under the guise of helping us, when in all actuality it's for their own benefit. I think Titch thought he was doing all of these great things for Washington Black, and in some senses, maybe, I don't know. This was a phenomenal book. Whatever Hulu did, I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm sorry for cussing, Mom. Next, this book right here, I need you to get a physical copy. I need you to get the audiobook. I need you to get an e-copy of it. You need every edition of this book. When the paperback comes out, you need that too. Dominion is absolutely phenomenal. The nerve of her to write this as a debut. My God, today, girl, I was in her DMs calling her all kinds of black heifers because you put your ankles in Dominion. I don't know what I expected. I didn't even really read the synopsis before I read the book. I read it in one sitting. I sat in here mouth agape, completely taken aback. This tells the story of a church in a small town in Mississippi called Dominion. And we get the story through the perspective of two different women. The first lady of the church and a girl in the church that is in love with one of the first lady's sons. The story then goes on to show the trials and tribulations that these women go through wanting to be in relationships with high up men. Of course, pastor is doing his dirt. He cheating on his wife, but his wife is not innocent either. And then we find out the son has a secret, and it takes off running from there. This takes a sharp turn that I had no idea was going to happen. The only book that I would pair with this is Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. If you read Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin and found it difficult, I think this is a more fun read. Not necessarily because of the content. There are some trigger warnings. But because of how fast paced it is, right? James Baldwin moves very slow and steady with Go Tell It on the Mountain, but they're telling the same story. They're having the same conversation. Okay? You need this in every copy edition. You need this. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Next up, Firstborn Girls by Bernice L. McFadden. Another book that is going on my favorite list. I want to be in my nonfiction bag a little bit more. I like memoirs. This is one of the best ones that I've read in a little while. She tells her life story while intertwining historical facts in there. She kind of connects all the pieces of why she is the way that she is and her life experiences all to her childhood and the different connecting pieces. It just was very, very good. It's well written. The audiobook is good. I did both. I listened and read this. So I have a bunch of stuff like annotated and underlined. I think this would be a really good book if you want to get into annotating. I would get some tabs. I don't use them anymore, but I would get some tabs, color code them, right? For quotes, historical facts, and maybe connections, right? Like how the historical facts connect to the experiences that she has and go from there. Keep track of those particular things. This was a great memoir. If you are into nonfiction, into memoirs, that is definitely for you. Now, this next book, I don't know, cousin. I don't know what I read. I don't know what I read at all. My computer decided to come on. My bad. I had my eye on The Catch for a long time. And when I read the synopsis, I thought it was going to be something different. And this is for lack of better words, a weird book. I saw the author today call it an oddball book. I walked away from reading this thinking, what the helly? Ain't that what the little kids be singing? What the hellion? What the helliante? What was this? We meet twins who kind of have a strange relationship because they were adopted. They were orphans and they went to separate homes. The one twin is an author and her book is doing really well, and she goes on book tour and she's trying to find an outfit for said book tour, and then she's in the store and she sees her mother as a 30-year-old stealing from the store. And she calls her sister and is like, I saw mommy. And her sister's like, girl, she died 30 years ago. Have you seen your doctor lately? And we go on this adventure trying to figure out if this is actually their mother. And the entire time, you can't really rely on any of the characters. Nobody is reliable. Everybody sounds like they smoking that stuff just a little bit, okay? And then the ending just, I don't know. If you like books like that, this is for you. The two books that came to mind that I think executed this like unreliable narrator a little bit better are Model Home and American Daughters. I'll put pictures of those on the screen. Those are two books where you go on this adventure, you don't really know what all is happening, but then at the end, it clears everything up. This, even at the end, we kind of get an answer, but then it's like, maybe that's not the answer. And I was like, not once did I feel like I wanted to DNF it though. Not once did I say, you know what, this is not for me. And I think that's solely because I'm nosy as hell. So yeah, if you like books like that, The Catch is definitely for you. If you need a more reliable narrator, if you want a clear-cut ending, don't read The Catch. I'm gonna think about that a lot because girl, it felt like she sent a voice note to her best friend in the middle of the night and was like, bitch, what if I wrote a story about twins and one of the twins was an author and the book was mimicking real life and they was using the book to try to solve the mystery of their dead mama that might be dead, might not be dead. And then they were really at a psych facility. And her best friend sent her a voice note back and was like, bitch, you got to stop smoking that shit. And she probably did stop smoking that shit, but she wrote The Catch instead. That's what it felt like. You know, I just be here to tell the truth. That's all. Okay? Next, all of my ebooks. I'm going to start with A Virgin Surrogate and an Underboss part 1 and 2. Okay, the first one had me. Mama is a surrogate because she wants to have a baby, but she is a virgin and she just doesn't believe in the dating world. She not wrong. The dating pool got all kind of stuff floating around in it. Okay, and she goes to the office to get inseminated. We find out that they put the wrong sperm in her. Now, the person whose sperm they put in there is an underboss. His father is like, in order for you to become head of this family, you need to have a wife and an heir. So he goes to the office. He got some girl with him. He like, I'm gonna pay her to carry my baby. I ain't fucking her. Let the doctor do it. And that's when they find out that they put his sperm in our female main character. goes on a whirlwind from there. We also get the perspective of her siblings and their relationship. It was just a lot going on. The first one was interesting. There was a cliffhanger. Then I got to the second one and I was like, I don't care anymore. I just don't. So I won't be reading the third one. Maybe I'll have a change of heart later on down the line, but like I can't even really tell you. The cliffhanger was that the underboss, because obviously him and the female main character fall in love with each other, right? It's okay. We get it, got it, good. And then it like his ex pops up saying that she had his baby, and then we go into the second one and we realize that the baby is actually his father's, and they was setting him up because okay. Leave me out of it, okay? Leave me out of it. Next, I read Cutthroat. Octavia Grant's sister. Are you well? What did I read? It opens up with a young woman who is a very good wife. And she finds out that her husband is sleeping with her sister and has been cheating on her with her sister for a long time. He also was lying about being a vegetarian. And when I tell you, I probably would have knocked their heads together so hard they shared a brain. But anyway, so she catches him with her sister, and this is the origin of her villain story. Okay? Mama turns into the Joker like overnight. And that's the scariest part to me, because a lot of bad things have happened to me. And I've never turned into a superhero villain. The twists and the turns, I got whiplash reading that book. And it's less than 200 pages, if I remember correctly. What? Octavia Grant, are you okay? Girl. I read Suleem&Yahzi by Casey Mills. That actually just came out a couple of days ago. And the girls are like every few days releasing their version. So it's going to be, you know, I like when the girls do that. The romance girlies will do a series, and it'll be a collection of novellas by a bunch of different authors. So this one was Casey Mills. Yahzi left the love of her life because he is a gangbanger, and she was like, I'm not doing that with you. There was a situation, and she was just like, we've lost too much. I don't want to live that life. It's been 3 years. She is dating someone new in this new town. She's a barber, and she finds out that this new dude is in the street life too. So she tries to break it off with him. How about she come home and that Negro and his friends was all in her living room, guns all over the place, weed and shit. And she like, I broke up with you. And he was like, you thought you did, but it's okay. We still together. I'm gonna give you a little bit of space. I got some business to handle. And she was afraid to call Yahzi because she was like, that man ain't wrapped too tight. But the deal was, if I need him, he was gonna come. But that also meant that if I call, I'm coming home. She made the call and she went home. And I don't think it was a bad idea. It's very much going over that conversation of like, you can't change a person, right? But you also can't help who you love. There's always going to have to be compromise, but you shouldn't be trying to change a person at their core. Now, this is to an extreme because we are talking about he's a gang member. But he did change his life, right? He's not in the streets as much as he was. He has a clean business that he actually goes to work to every day. Like, he did the things to change because he was like, I know that's who I want to be with. I'm not going back on that. So that was very good. Casey Mills does no wrong in my eyes. Okay? Then I read Red Clay. Red Clay is a historical fiction that tells the story of a man. We open the book at his funeral, and his granddaughter is talking about how much she's gonna miss him, and just all of that stuff. And she happens to look back at the church, and there is a white woman older white woman in the back of the church, and she's like, who is that? And her mother didn't know, her brother didn't know. The older white woman comes to her house and tells a story about how her family used to own her grandfather and like their family all of these years ago. We get this flashback. It tells like this crazy story about how when, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but when the grandfather was young, his slave owner made him keep a secret, and that secret kind of followed him throughout his life. It really kind of goes over the same conversation, a similar conversation to Washington Black, where it's just like, you gotta be careful with white people. You gotta be careful with them, because even when they think that they are on the right side of history, it doesn't take long for them to get on the wrong side of it. So that was very good. I really enjoyed that. I read that on my Kobo. It was like the first book that I read on my Kobo. It was very, very good. Surrender Your Heart. This is by the Marie. I'm gonna put her name on the screen. Y'all know who I'm talking about. This is a continuation of Surrender to Me. We got another weekend with Legend. Okay, this is a good old-fashioned coochie book. If you ain't read both of them, you need to read them. Okay? It was so good. I love Legend. In this one, he offers her a weekend, but he offers it because he wants them to be together long term. And he was folding that lady up every which way. I love it. Okay? If you also are possibly a legend, call me. I ain't gonna call me. Okay? And then last but certainly not least, I read Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. After reading her memoir, I was like, let me finally read Sugar. If you enjoyed Sula, you'll love Sugar. Sugar tells the story of two different women who are in this small town and end up making this connection. Pearl lost her daughter 15 years prior, which we see in the prologue. And then again, like, it's 15 years later, Sugar moves next door. Sugar is a more promiscuous woman, and they build this bond mostly because she looks like Pearl's daughter. But then there are all of these interconnections. There's all of this conversation about class and societal standards and how we treat the whores in our community, right? And small town drama. It was just a lot going on. There is a second book in the series, so I might read that this month. I'll see. But that was very, very good. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite book? Have you read any of these that I mentioned? If you want to read them, don't forget to click and use my links down below. And without further ado, I love you. If no one has told you today, you are kind, you are smart, you are important, if to no one else, to me. Bye, friends.